Hi, it's Jennifer Mazzarolo, President of Maverick Consulting Group. Happy Tuesday, and here's your Maverick Moment. Hopefully you've all been recovering from a great long weekend and an amazing win by the Raptors last night. So, see what happens when you don't give up? Anyway, wanted to discuss candidate interview questions today. I've had quite a few people ask me about what kind of question makes a good question in an interview. So here's some thoughts around that. For me, when I was a hiring manager in finance, a good question always got me thinking and may have been something a bit more obscure or putting me on the spot a little bit, but making me think. So a good question from a candidate is something that gets me thinking, and a good question from a candidate is also one that gets you thinking about whether this is the right opportunity for you. So here are some thoughts around some good questions, and here's some examples. Question one would be, as you're discussing the role, you could understand what makes a typical week or a typical month in this role. Gives you an idea of what's transactional versus ad hoc, how much analysis is involved in the role. Just gives you an idea for you to assess whether or not this is the right level of role for you, and whether you'd be interested in that, the nature of that work. That leads very nicely into a question, could be more specifically geared to FP&A candidates, which is, how much interaction do I have with the business? What does it look like? Am I going to the meetings? Are you going to the meetings? This is the conversation you'd have with your manager. Do I do the presentation? Do you do the presentation? Are we putting the presentation together as a team, and then one of us goes to the meeting? Just gives you a sense of where you fit into the picture and how much interaction and face time you're going to have with the business. Third question is really geared to those people managers that you're meeting with, and I would ask them, how are you going to set this position up for success? A follow-up to that is, has the role, if you're stepping into a newly created role, what kind of legwork has been done in the background to make sure that, this role is being set up for success. There's nothing worse than stepping into a newly created role and the rest of the business doesn't even know why it exists. So just some questions to ask in terms of those newly created positions. The other question, and you want to always make sure you've got the right forum and the right language and the right tone, but you can either talk to HR or the hiring manager about culture and ask them what they would change about the culture. If they could change one thing about the culture, what would that be? And so those are some good questions that we could go on and on for a whole few hours for sure, but I'm just trying to carve it out to give you a little bit of a moment today to think about the candidate side and think about those questions you might want to ask in your next interview. So have a great day, and go Raptors go. Tomorrow night we're going to win in Cleveland.